Look at us on time. That's quite the cause for celebration, right? That's correct. But, right, we should be doing this more regularly. Well, listen, today's topic, right, before we jump into the housekeeping and such, today's topic, the kids are not having sex. And I know that sounds weird to say it. It sounds weird to say it, right? But by kids, we mean Gen Z. And by Gen Z, we mean, yes, the annoying people that you call entitled, that you say are supposed to inherit the world, whatever way you want to sort of, talk about it, whatever way you want to slice it, they're the next up, right? They're going to be the next kings and queens. They're the ones who are going to decide the direction in which the world goes. But they've inherited a lot of that from us, right? Millennials. And it doesn't look like baby boomers plan on expiring at any point in time whatsoever. So shout out to the baby boomers hoarding all that wealth. Not that we wouldn't do the same thing, to be fair, right? To be fair. But yes, they're not coupling up. They're not having sex. What does this mean? Why is it important? And probably means something to you because you may have a child. You may have a child who may inherit the world that Gen Z develops, or very much likely they're going to share the same world as they do. So you should pay attention. And a lot of the things that they're going through are definitely offshoots of what we're experiencing. So it matters, right? I, for one, think it matters. But besides that, it is Subscriber Sunday. So thank you guys for actually showing up once again. You guys are the best. This is why this is fun. This is enjoyable. This is why we try to make little changes, little tweaks, little things so we can improve. And of course, yeah, I had to break this one out, right? Shout out to Doom, right? Dr. Doom, my favorite villain. But what I want to say, right? And I was thinking about this earlier today. I was putting together the show and being, a practical adult and doing stuff, adulting. I wanted to thank you guys that show up regularly, right? That help make this thing worth it. This isn't something like that you can just write off and say, hey, you're supposed to be here. I know a lot of you sometimes when your life is actually lifing and you have other commitments, especially on this, on a Sunday, that you guys often be like, hey, sorry, I missed it. I love that. I appreciate that. But I know your attention is valuable and I don't take it for granted, or do I take it lightly? So when you have to life and you have to do things that you enjoy on Sunday, I don't hold it against you. Okay? I simply thank you guys for actually showing up. That's it. I would never have thought that people would continuously show up here to listen, to have us talk and share these experiences. And, eventually when you guys are comfortable, when you guys give me the word, we can do some of the live shows. A lot of you guys I know personally, I trust not to come here and start hooping and hollering and cursing. I look on, because I was trying to, the next evolution is that we're going to start trying to go live on TikTok simultaneously. So I got to do the research. I got to go and look and got to go listen and see what some of these conversations be having over there. And then I immediately cringe. And I realize that there is something special that we're building in this community where we can laugh, we can joke, but we can have high level thought, high level discussions. Yeah, we'll make slip ups, we'll make mistakes, but I think we're doing better than just, those other channels that are doing a lot better than us. But besides that, listen, we got it. Topic. We understand what we're talking about here. As usual, if you're new here or you're in the replay gang, double tap that screen or replay. You just would have to actually go hit the like, I think. I'm not sure what the replay of a live looks like. Besides that, subscribe. This is the best way you can actually help out the channel outside of donations, so I can afford dope shirts like this, right? These quite expensive. Besides that, how the format is. I'm just explaining for people that may be in the wings who say I'm not going to join the chat. But the makeup of Subscriber Sundays, very simple. We got love and money. Right? It's all sections, right? It's all umbrella sections, love and money, crashing out, agree or disagree. Then we're going to talk about Gen Z and how it also applies very much into our life. We're going to break that down in about 10 different points we're going to make. If at any time something ends up being critically funny, engaging, a jump off point to speak of that happens from the chat, we will completely derail the show. Completely. We will say, we're good. We're good with everything. I've got all this thing lined out, planned out. Cool. I will derail the show. To me, it's worth it. To me, that becomes fun. That becomes entertaining. This is what we're here to do. So again, if something so moves you and some of the stuff, let me apologize for my mom is watching this. Some of the stuff is going to be a little bit out there. If you want to talk about it later, feel free to call me. Besides that, listen, love and money. So I have some of the best conversations with you guys, right? Individually, right? We're not all on a group FaceTime call at one time. This isn't one of those panel discussion shows where no one can get a word in. So some of the things that we talk about, I think end up being hilarious. And I always say, I wish I could just have the webcam up and rolling so we can just record that in real time. Blair, we've said that, you know, if and when he joins, we've said that, you know, for years. For years, people have been witness to some of those conversations that we've had in person, and they go wild. But one of the things, right? And Jasmine, I'm putting you on the spot right now. One of the things I always say about Jasmine, like, yo, you don't know how to talk nicely to a man. So I got the perfect example. I've got the perfect example of how if you say the right things the right way, it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. He's going to change his mind. When we talk about the power of femininity, I want to give you this example. And I've replayed it. I've watched it several times. And each time, a part of me smiles a little bit inside. And if you're not a man, I don't expect you to definitely feel the same way. Right? That's fine. That's fine. It's fine if you don't. But all I'm asking is that you take a look and see if I'm making any type of sense.
I wasn't using empathy, Daddy.
I'm sorry, what you say, ma'am?
I wasn't using empathy, Daddy. I was just reading your claims.
Don't call me fucking daddy after you just protected this man. You're trying to
protect him. Donald Trump protected him. Donald Trump let him go to a country
think because
where
you
he
have a
had
cute
no
wig?
murder.
You think because you have a cute wig and nice skin, you can try to talk soft to me?
You think I'm cute?
Oh, well, you kind of cute. I ain't gonna lie.
You think
Immediate change. Immediate
I'm
change.
cute?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck it, I'm voting for Trump now. You're soft. See, if you women start acting like this all the goddamn time, I'll be voting for Trump. But they may. I mean, no. I said I'm voting for a Democrat. But if you women start acting like this more, men would start voting right behind you. But you guys are so caught up on this Ku Klux Keisha era where y'all want to be masculine and emasculate.
Yeah, it works. Yeah, it works. Talk to me nice like that. Yeah. We're as much as we like to pretend like, yo, we got to figure it out, right? Man, we're so complex. We're so, no, it's difficult. No, the same things that we enjoyed when we were little boys, the same things that we enjoy now, the same things that moved us at that point still move us now. We don't we don't live a lot of life in between, right? So we don't have a lot of these examples of, yeah, I kind of become, you know, immune to that. No, you talk to a man softly like that. Yeah, I forgot why I was heated. I was heated, right? I was angry about something, but that softness, I tell you, I said this on the video. There is zero defense, right? Yeah. We're gonna fold, but you think we're gonna fold? You come there arguing and yelling at us. I can't believe you did. I'm not folding to that, right? I'm not folding to aggressive energy. I gotta unite. I gotta get the X-Men teams together. We're gonna fight, master mode, right? We're gonna fight, right? Not when you come soft like that. Yeah, we're gone. We're gone, right? We're gone. That's it. It's really that simple, right? It's not over. It's a weird thing, right? If you ever think about it like this, right? We're being fair, right? Like cheap picnic, like cheap lawn chair. I'm folding, right? Napkin. I'm folding. I was like, wait, what was I upset about? It really disarms us, right? Right. Listen, I've watched this thing 7 times, and each time I end up smiling. Each and every time I end up smiling. Because we as men, we feel it. Like you're out there, like, yo, I'm about to, okay. Right, okay. Think about it. And you can use this in your actual life and your own examples. Whenever you meet someone with some sort of like radical accountability, when the first thing that they come, they're ready for that fight. They're geared up for that fight. I can't believe you did this. You know what? You're right. That was really insensitive of me. I'm sorry. And if we can work together to endeavor a way where I don't make that mistake again, I would really appreciate that. You say that, you come with that. They're like, wait. It takes them a while to shift the gears. They got to downshift. They got to put it around. They got to take it around the block. And then they got to park the thing and then get out and meet you and say, I was not really ready for that. I had a 12-step program ready to tell you why you ain't shit. I was ready to relive things and arguments that we cooked up years ago. I was ready to bring it all back. You came here, you just took. People will actually be disarmed to the point they'll be upset. Like, I wanted to argue. Wanted to. You hit a man with that softness. I was upset. You burnt the bacon. I was upset. I was getting ready to go in. Boom. Out. Gone. Right? Ruined. Damn. All right, you got that. Right? You got that. And it wasn't even just the daddy part. It was just the softness about it. It's just the softness about it. It's just, damn, you got me. So listen, yeah, this is, I think this is noteworthy. I think this is just like, this is really, that's what it is. That's what it is. For all, the thing is, you cannot out masculine a man, right? You don't even want to do it, right? Yeah. Yeah, we think it's a trap, but we have no defense for it. Outside of running away, we have no defense for that. You meet a woman that's soft and feminine, we got no defense. I don't know what play to hit. I'm trying to reach into the playbook. I'm swiping through years of game footage. I'm trying to find, what did we do when we came up this in 99? We never did. We never did. We've never seen this before. Folding, right? Folding. White flag, right? White flag. You got it. You got it. There's no defense against femininity. All these questions, all these conversations, what do you bring to the table? Femininity. That's your answer. That's the answer. You can look at that man and say, where do you have that in your life? You can't buy that. You can't rent it. You can't cook it up for yourself. You can't put it together in a lab. You can't order it from China. Femininity. Anything that approaches it, approximates it, you know it's there for X amount of time. You paid for the hour. That's it. That's the key. That's the secret. That's the secret sauce. We solved the problem for you. Oh, what do you bring to the table? Femininity. Okay. Okay. Right. That's it. Right. That's it. If you want to call it being a manipulative, we all manipulate each other. Conversations manipulative. I'm trying to convince you of something that is against your best interest. I'm trying to manipulate you. I manipulate you all the time with facts, with data, statistics. I'm trying to convince you of something that you don't want. I'm trying to show you this. If you manipulate with someone, hey, I'm getting what I want. I don't care. I'll vote for Democrat. I don't care. Right. Yeah. Anyone who's been through enough trauma and the softness is gone. Yeah. It's got to be built back up. Yeah. Hard part is deciding if you want to be there, I'll build it back up. This is what I say all the time. When you sit there and you want us to sort of wait for you to become soft, I got to unlock this thing. While you are unlocking it, we're playing Mortal Kombat, right? Fatalities and all. It's just an extended 2 rounds. By the time you become soft and you realize, oh, it's safe. How many times have you been katana? How many times have you cut me? How many different areas am I bleeding from? And now I need to get help. But in each cut is a little bit of resentment. A little bit builds, a little bit until I say, you know what, I'm good. Right? I say I'm good, right? So single mothers bring to the table and show hungry kids like that. Right. Again, question, the answer is simple, right? If you have kids, the simple solution, I've got to make sure I'm feminine. I got to make sure I understand this man, he cannot get what he gets with me anywhere else. When he's with me, he can relax. He can breathe. That, I talk to him nuts. I breathe life into him. He goes back out there in the trenches. He's trying to find some young thing. And all she's doing is saying, Where we going to next? You need to buy this. I can't believe this. She has you out to 2, 3 in the morning. You go to bed at 8:30. If someone was going to understand, okay, this is your habits. This is what you want to do. Let me see what I can do to facilitate that. You come back home and you got someone rubbing your shoulders. Guys, when was the last time someone rubbed your shoulders? What does that actually feel like? What does that actually feel like? That relaxing. You get some treatment like that. You're like, okay. I kind of want to be out in the streets, but the streets, it's survival game out there. The survival game out there. But moving on from that, right? And maybe I should have saved that because that was good. Just in terms of with the way dating is today, at least we're talking about, at least for millennials, when we pioneered the internet, one of the best things that ever happened, right? I'm gonna stand on this. One of the best things that ever happened. Mom, I apologize if you listen to this. One of the best things that ever happened. Nudes. Nudes. One of the best things that ever happened. You transporting that digitally. When we started taking when they attached cameras and the ability to send MMS, beautiful. You got nudes. It became so special, right? This is before Instagram, right? This is before Instagram. When we got that out there, this changed the game. This changed the game. What I mean by that? It's simple. We used to have, back in there, we used to desire, lust, right? We used to yearn. We used to imagine. Our imaginations were top tier back then. And then we got nudes. Then we got to see it. And then we got to the point where regular, you were sending it. You were sending this person, this person, this person. And they always elicited that reaction. Ask, what's the same thing? What's the equivalent for flowers to a man? Nudes. I guess the same sort of, oh my God. Yes. Yes. But what happens when you send nudes and you don't get a reply?
Okay, so my threads for some reason went viral because I posted that I sent a naked photo to the guy that I like and he hasn't responded in 24 hours and I am so ashamed of myself. Keep in mind, yes, this did happen, and yes, I waited 24 hours, and yes, after the 15 hours after the 24, I did message him back, and this blew up, and it was so embarrassing for me, but now, welcome to all my new followers on Threads. So nice to meet you. And the one lesson that I've actually learned is, ladies, no response from a man is a response. Like, there's no need to think these crazy things or think he's dead or think something happened to him. No, he just doesn't want to see you. He doesn't want to be with you. Still no response. He got to be dead. No.
I mean, it could be a car accident. It could be a number of things. Or, right? Listen, yeah, you can unsend, right? You can unsend. Yeah, you probably want to move with that, right? I mean, even if you're nonplussed by you got news that was sent to you, you at least have to fake that's got to be just a self-esteem killer. That's got to be a killer. I don't like if I sent you a pic and then you were just living your life at work and it took you extra long to reply to that, to see it, a thumbs up, a heart, something. Nudes? Now the question is, right? His wife saw it. Yeah, his wife saw it. So he's definitely dead. Yeah. Oh, see, this is wise right here. It's always better in person, right? It's always better in person. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I think a thumbs up. I think a thumbs up. I think worse than a thumbs up is if you actually wrote red, right? And you put a timestamp and you just left it at that. There was, I'll say this. There was this when I'm looking for content. I'm constantly looking for content. What I'll do, especially with TikTok, I'll end up saving it, right? Or bookmarking, so I'll go back to it later. And there was one lady, she said she went on a date with a guy. It went well. They went back to her place, and it was time for the damn thing. So she took off her clothes, and then he said, I can't do this. And she was just saying how that was crushing. But he's I mean, he's also being honest. I can't get up for something like this. and she was, she wasn't in the best type of shape. I think she lost a bunch of weight, and she was so like that's gotta hurt. Right? That's gotta hurt. Just the same way, right? The same way is available for men, right? It's time to do the thing, and you get naked, and she starts giggling. She runs into the bathroom, and you just hear her fingers, and you can almost feel the haptic feedback into your soul when she's texting the group chat. It's just gotta be ugh. But there's we'll save that one. But we got to do some of this stuff out of order, so forgive me for a little bit of this. But one of the things that we say, at least us millennials, right? We don't want to be part of your TikTok. We don't want to be part of your story time. When you have your relationship, we don't want to hear about, let me tell you about this date I just went on and blah, blah, blah. We don't want to know that was us. We don't want to be part of that. And now it's ubiquitous to see that this is the way dating actually exists. I got to give the rundown. And one of the most unfair things is you never get to hear the other person's side of the story. The conclusion is always saying that he's lame, he didn't do something right, and here's why. You never get to hear the man say, nah, man, she totally messed this up. So when men just hear you're an influencer, say, I'm good, right? I'm good.
My date canceled on me because I'm an influencer.
The date was scheduled. It was in a few hours. He texted me, I saw you had a social media presence. While I think it's great what you've built, I have no interest in being shown on camera. And I'm like, who said I was going to show you? Okay, I need to show you the actual message.
So, was he not right? was he not immediately right? I don't want to be part of your social media. And what does she do? She immediately shows him. So, we just want to have it. Yeah. Hey, Kaylee, on second thought, I don't think we should go out tonight. They see a massive following on social media, and though it's quite impressive, plus definitely no small feat, I think you would be better off dating someone who wants to be intimately involved with your content. All fair. All fair. All fair. Right? I have no doubt you find a person, and when you do, it will be a perfect match, but unfortunately that person won't be me. It's just not something I can commit to right now, and I'd rather be upfront and not waste our time. Hope you have a nice rest of your weekend. This is a perfectly good letdown, right? He was upfront, completely just like, this is what it is. This is what it is. But naturally, because he was the one that said, hey, I'm good on this. He's immediately, one of the bad guys for even thinking about this. You say, hey, I'm not gonna, who said I was gonna? Yeah, you were. When your social media it's a history of how you interact, especially now how women often interact with men. This is content. This is content. Everything is content. There's very little left that is not content, that can't be contentized. That now is just like, okay, I don't want any parts of this, right? Yeah, it was one of the best no's I've read and heard in a while. Nothing derogatory. He gave you props for what you did. He just say, hey, that's not me. Right? Yeah, I really had a woman want a deep picture that one from the they can never tell the difference. Listen, for those of you that live or have been in New York City, been on the train, there was a rash. There was a time when you would get on a train and you would randomly, because most people had their AirDrop, they had it wide open. And this is actually before Apple made a way to restrict it just to your contacts or just turn it off. They get random dick pics. There was a time I was in yeah, don't blame me for saying I'll pass. Yeah, AirDrop was a massive issue. There was a time I was boarding a plane coming back from Hawaii, and I got a random, such and such, some number wants to send you a message. I'm curious. Also know it's a long flight, right? I know it's a long flight. I just chalk it up to game and say, you know what? Obviously someone's finger slipped. It can't be me. It can't be for me. So denied it, went back in, changed the contacts only, said leave it alone. Leave it alone, because we get it, right? At least I get it. Unsolicited dick pics aren't really the thing. Unless it's this thing crafted by the gods themselves. But typically no. Typically no. Yeah, typically no. Is it because yeah, it's going to work. sometimes, somewhere, but it is off-putting, right? It is absolutely off-putting. Yeah. Listen, enjoy your little vacation. Enjoy yourself. Shout out to Jasmine and running that race today, and shout out to the new homeowner. But this, we're gonna keep them. Oh, we got to go back to this absolute awful one. So what we see now, and more and more of like the dating shows that are coming up, and TikTok has an absolute funny one, and we got to shout out to yeah, doesn't matter, still hit. Yeah, we got to shout out to Black people. Absolutely hilarious, right? Absolutely hilarious in some of the stuff you come up with and some of the stuff you say.
I'm just trying to see the screen. I've already eliminated a lot of them, but I think I see one or two on here.
Well, which one or two do you see?
The ones with the best attitude and highest vibration.
Who got the best attitude and highest vibration?
So we're gonna cut off the last row, the last three of the last row, and we're just gonna focus on the rest. We're gonna cut off Miss Banks in the middle too. I'm seeing some shade and some slide eye. Yep. Thumbs up is for second grade. We don't need that.
Wait. 24K, I like him. Wait, 24K, I like. Oh no, 24K.
This is what happens when you've been rejected enough. You've gone through that, and now it's all humor. It's all funny games.
I think I went for Zamir before. She kind of had an attitude. I think she worships Satan. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Miss Sims. I know it's gonna be a stretch, but I'm gonna go with Miss Sims.
Hold on. 24K, is that for him? 24K, let me know. Yeah, we rudely interrupted you. What would you say? You said who worships Satan?
Zamia. Yeah, for sure. The way I saw her singing that Kurt Franklin, it was kind of like that she probably had a biracial mother that taught it to her in the first grade. And it kind of like that. I went to the HBCU, right? And I always noticed that the HBCU, all the leaders of the school would keep their eyes open during the prayers. It gave those kind of vibes. So I was just like, yeah, she might be a secret satanic worshiper.
Very judgmental.
Like if you're gonna be judgmental, you got to be hilarious about it. you have to be hilarious about it.
It's not even funny. Like he's not even being funny.
He's like dead ass. Like he's mad judgmental.
Yo, it's giving like nobody on this panel really want me, so let me try to crack jokes about all of them. But
actually, homegirl right here wants me. I might just cash her out. So you don't know what we got going. Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me. With all due respect, you don't know what me and her got going on right now.
Y'all don't know what
you keep that to yourself. See, I see that you're trying to manifest negative vibes and put it into the air. I rebuke you in the name of what I rebuke, which is the name of me. I rebuke you.
Bro, what? My bad.
All right. When you can decide on a hair color, then get back to us, honey girl.
Okay, boo. Period.
Yeah.
That's what
I don't have one.
What the fuck?
Thank God.
What the fuck are you on, bro? What is
That's what it's giving.
You ain't cool, boy.
They went like if the stages of grief were for getting rejected were a thing, they went through all those, right up to the last part where it's like I gotta call him Dio, I gotta call him gay, I gotta call him sassy. It's yeah, manifest negative vibes. That one I gotta write down. That one is fantastic. But we know the landscape. We know the landscape, and this is part of why one of the reasons we get into later why you see people, especially men, just saying there's no real point in doing this dating thing or putting ourselves out there, because some of this negativity, some of these negative vibes, some of these manifesting the negative vibes, it's cool when it's one way. You see it all the time on Pop the Balloon. It's cool when it's one way. When she gets rejected, then it's like, let me move right into insults. As if this is a way to make yourself feel better. Sometimes I wonder, is that the purpose? Is that the point where you get to say these things and then walk away and say, well, I really showed him in that space, in that time when you're being honest with yourself, right? Like that in that early morning, couldn't sleep, tossing and turning point in time. Could you sit there and stop and think, damn, I really ain't shit. I'm really, does that happen? And then I've made my peace in knowing that I'll never really truly know if that happens, if it even exists. But at some point in time, you would hope that people would say, I can be honest with myself. I can be honest and just be like, yeah, I'm not where I should be. I'm not where I should be. In the span of being honest with yourself, we also understand it can sometimes go too far. Some people are a little bit deluded, but I'm going to let you decide. Not like agree or disagree. You all better agree that this is out there.
I pulled out of her and swam over to the wire fence that encircled the pool. And Dolly swam up to me. She laid her snout on my shoulder. She embraced me with her flippers, and we just stared into each other's eyes for a couple of minutes. Well, when other people claim that I must have raped the dolphin, my response is that you can't outswim a dolphin in the water.
That's a bad response, sir. That's not the response that most of us would be looking to hear and understand. That's definitely not.
Well, Phelps could not outswim a dolphin in the water. Dolphin in the water is in its element. We spent half an hour in courtship. If it had been rape, it would have been easier for her to stay in the pen where the male dolphin would have protected her from me. Instead, she...
So wait, wait. Is because the guy gave the male dolphin gave the nod, said, "No, man, continue." If I had a problem with this, I would have came here and intervened. I didn't. I like it. I love it. Continue, please.
Chose to squeeze between a couple of boards and get into another pen where we had some privacy. And what she ended up wanting to do was make love with me. Their claim that this was rape is based on a whole bunch of fallacies. I couldn't find any moral or ethical objections. And
I don't think you were looking hard enough. I don't think you were looking hard enough.
I still don't. I think what may have harmed her was that we both developed an emotional attachment. In fact, I think it's fair to say that if I hadn't been involved with Dolly, if I hadn't been in love with Dolly, I never would have bothered to write a book about the experience. If this was just some farm boy with a goat, I'm not sure that's a worthwhile story.
No, I want to hear that story too. I want to hear stories of depravity. Right. Oh yeah. That'll be the one that justifies this. Yo, she was with it. Right? There are brief moments in time. But right, how are you still free? There are brief moments in time because the dolphin can't press charges. I dare Dick Wolf to take this one up. I dare him to take this one up. Please. Why does he not make the Olivia trying to hunt down this guy and Ice-T? You're sick, buddy. Right? I would watch that. I would watch that episode. Definitely watch that episode. That'd be a watch party. That's what that would be. What do you... It's the justification, that part of it. That's justification part of it. And the world is vast. The world is vast. And I would just say, yo, have you tried a human? Have you tried like a woman? Just like, no? I would say it'd be a lot less trouble, right? It'd be a lot less messy. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, we would just need a marine version of this, right? Crossover. What was the name of that movie? It'll come to me. It was said the dolphins were the smartest on the planet. So maybe if you live in none of that makes sense. Yeah, definitely. Listen, medical illness, something's wrong there. There's wires are crossed. Yes. And shame on whoever. Like we just played it. So think about it, right? Yeah, think about it for a second. There was someone that took that picture, that over shoulder shot with him with the dolphin down. That person's sick too, right? that person's sick as well. I would hate to be like, you made me party to this thing. You made me party to this thing. I hate you forever. I hate you forever. But listen, we'll continue on Subscriber Sundays. Next up is Crashing Out, probably one of my favorite segments. So we're going to get to this. So if you are new here, if you are hanging out in the weeds or in the chat, if you just jumped in, subscribe to the channel. That's what we're doing this all for.
I got road rage, been burning rubber so reckless. I'm a crash out. I got road rage, been burning rubber so reckless. I'm a crash out. I got road rage, been burning rubber so reckless. I'm a crash out. I got road rage, been burning rubber so reckless. I'm a crash out. Got 100K on my wrist and my.
All right. We want to continue with the weirdness or with the storytelling. So listen, this is the time, grab your popcorn, grab a little bit of wine, and kick back and enjoy the stream of consciousness. This is something I first learned in high school in one of my English classes, and then later on refined in my great works in college. In my English class. And one of the professors that inspired me to write by showing me how to write, by writing the wrong way. He said, write an entire paragraph with one sentence, then 3. And then I took it further and said, I want to write an entire page that's just based on one sentence. Structurally, grammatically, it's sound. It was stupid, but it was a nice exercise, right? It was a nice exercise. Where did I find this? Listen, I do this for y'all. Right? Do you understand that? You understand that? I do this so Subscriber Sundays we can entertain ourselves, and we will now engage and be some entertained. So if you guys are ready, again, the internet is a vast place, wonderful place. Some people out here are using it to our benefit. It doesn't benefit you in any way outside of just being entertaining. And I love a good stream of consciousness. I love when people just kind of let it go, let it fly.
And I simply can never be a judge. Because what? You out here touching kids? Giving you 147 years in guard before you put them in? Fuck them. Now my heart beating fast because I like this power, this control. It's like crack. It's like crack. Now I'm just treating them like American Idol contestants. Next, bring old lady come in. I'm like, man, what are you even here for? Come to find out she's speeding, doing an 80 on a 40 school zone. Look at her dead in the face. Give me a cane. You won't speed shit out. Give her 30 days in jail. I feel the dopamine going. Sentence after sentence. Bring him in, bring him in, bring him in. Kid boy coming next. Come to find out he accidentally hit a pedestrian trying to steal a car. I look at him dead in his face. Uncuff him. He look up like, what? What was going on? Now uncuff him. Uncuff him. Send him to the back. I'm about to hit him with my car. Another teenage boy coming in. He threatened to pew pew to school. We make eye contact. I look at him and I say, you don't have to go to prison. Under one condition. You're free to go. After we take turns shooting you, yo, go get the gun. Next, dope boy come in. Finally caught him. Police been looking for him everywhere. He been selling drugs all across New York. He looking at me, I'm looking at him. He don't know what his sentence is. I tell the people, bring the drugs to me. Put it in front of me. I said, you was selling drugs with fentanyl? Eat it. And if you survive, you don't have to go to prison.
Now, this all should be a story. This is all story worthy, right? Put that together. Put that together. I would subscribe to that, right? A&E, you guys should be paying attention. Listen, you just gotta mine the internet for a little bit. You gotta go and see where people being clever. You say, listen, we can make a bunch of movies like this, right? Yeah, Dread, yeah, was actually surprisingly a very, very good movie. So was what was that? Yeah, that was a good movie. A lot of those old 80s, 90s movies, fantastic, phenomenal. But back to the unfortunate crashing out seriousness. So one of the things that we see a lot of today is the get back, right? The get back. You cheated on me, I'm gonna cheat on you, or sometimes right now, you made me mad. You just made me mad, so now I'm gonna go and do the most vile thing that I could ever think of. When we see this, we kind of understand, one, it reveals more about your character. 2, you were just looking for an excuse to do these things. I just gave it to you by just being a person, so you got mad. I left the fork in the sink, so now you're upset. So now you're gonna go and try to find my brother and have sex with him. Right? These are, it's not tit for tat anymore. It's you just feel aggrieved and you want it to be.
What is your wildest confession?
The guy I was talking to, he made me mad. So I had a threesome with his best friend and his best friend's friend.
Does he know?
No.
Only because he made you mad. How did he make you mad?
I don't remember.
What are we talking about? Right? What are we talking about? You made me mad, so now I slept with people who I was probably going to sleep with anyway, or whom I've already been. Why do some women think this is a flex? Why do people think this is a flex? We already knew you can get penis, right? It's a family show. We already know you can get that. No question about it. No question about it. The ability for you to do a thing that we know you could readily do does not grant you any points. 0 points for Gryffindor. None. We knew you could do this. You didn't do anything above and beyond. So Slytherin, y'all made potions. And we're like, great. No, 0 points. No, you could do that. You're good at that. Right? Oh, look, you talk to snakes. Wow. We knew you could do that. Right? You went out and you slept with a bunch of people. We knew you could do that. If you want to hurt someone, right? And this is the way we always go to, it's like, well, right. Listen, and you're absolutely right. This is a lot of what it comes down to. You don't have real friends. Any friend of yours would be able to say, look and say, no, this is not how we move. You'll find a friend. You'll find someone in that group that's like, yeah, right. This is the villain arc. This is the villain arc. Dr. Doom got started for less. For less. I would look at this and say, listen, you understand, and everyone involved. I said, you understand, this changes things between us. That my life mission is to make you guys like miserable. If that's through just sheer focused success, that, or if that's, routinely running you guys over with a semi, whichever, right? Whichever. But that type of behavior, like, come on. Right. Anakin killed kids for less. When you want to be that way, you want to be that way. And this next one's the same thing. I think sometimes we forget in this society, we forget, sometimes just how dangerous men are.
I really think as a group, as a demographic, we should get more.
Now we're talking.
Off the first day, and should be like stealing like silverware, pots, pans. I'm like, girl.
Anyways, yeah, I think you should just start stealing. I don't think he's going to ask me to come over to his house anymore. As a matter of fact, I don't think he's going to ask me anything ever again. Anyways, have a good day.
Would too, because why are you so comfortable enough to just let me come to your house?
Yep, your doormat.
Like, why not? Because honestly, when you're inviting someone over, like, and you don't even know me, it's like disrespect.
Yeah,
it's like you don't even want to take the time.
Y'all want to be disrespected. I just want you want to be upset about something. You want to be victimized about something. The worst thing you can do, and you look at it today, one of the worst things you can do is you can antagonize a man and disrespect him. You're forgetting, right? If you're with a man that has absolutely no real control over his emotions, what do you think he's going to do? He's going to crash out. And I mean, he's going to crash out like car through your house, see you on the street. Especially if this disrespect becomes widely known. You put it out there on TikTok. You make a story time about it. Let me tell you a story how I stole this man's clock, right? Or stole. This is dumb. This is dumb, and this is some of the information, some of the stuff women put out here, thinking this is phenomenal. This is exactly what you should do. This is fun. No, this is terrible advice. None of this makes sense. None of this is actually how you should be working out, how you should make any of this actually happen. But the internet is full of this stuff, this unaccountability, right? They tattle themselves on the internet. They absolutely do. Listen, perfect segment. Wait, let me hit my little graphic. Right. If you guys are hanging out in the wings, or you guys new here, subscribe, double tap that screen. Consider donations. You can see that down there. But yeah, a lot of people do not understand when you are talking on the internet, you're not that anonymous. I think in the last year and a half, you have more people being run up. Oh, you said that? You said that in the chat? And now I'm in your face. Now you're confused. Oh, you said that, right? In the comment section, you made a follow-up video to that. Now you lost your job. Now HR is calling you in Monday morning. and say, hey, you know what? We really not fans of the implied racism or the flat out racism. Or you said, nah, now your livelihood is gone. Now people harassing you. You're really not that anonymous like we used to be. So when you say stuff like this, rob people, okay. He knows it was you. And you know, you don't want some of the stuff to stew because, you know, when it does run up on you, it's going to be flavorful. You boil that down and it got the roux is delicious. I'm going to hit you with it. This is not what you should be doing, but it seems like more and more the gender that is more emotionally intelligent gets a pass on crashing out, gets a pass on doing shit that doesn't make any sense.
Confession. I was recently in a relationship with an older man in his 50s. I'm 38. It was a great relationship. He was a great guy. Things started to go wrong. He broke up with me, which I understand. I couldn't take it, so I scratched up all his cars, took the mirrors off the cars, broke a window in his house, took his Ring cameras and stalked him for a day and
the relation was good and he broke up. You even understood the reason why he broke up with you.
Called his job and told them that he did something so I could get him fired. I actually feel really bad about it and pray that he will forgive me, not that I ever want to talk to him again.
I want to say something that's not really kind. But this is when people end up sometimes just randomly dead. And you're like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. We ignore a lot of that lead up. We ignore a lot of, someone breaks up with you and does a fine job of it. And you crash all the way out to the point where you want to ruin that person's life. Not just property, life. A lot of us are really on the edge, right? Yeah. It's a lot of us on the edge. We got a thin veil of security, right? Keeping us right here in place, right? Don't do shit in that one. Yeah, like you can make the case. You can say it, and that's enough. There was a story I was reviewing, right? I want to create a crime and law section. And maybe a live stream dedicated to that, or maybe just another section on a Scribe Sundays. I'm still trying to debate it, but the case was very simple. A woman claimed that someone came in, an ex came in, kicked in the door, barged in, ran her down, roughed her up, and, got out. She said, yo, he looks like this. Boom, 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 boom. Here's his birthday. Got all that. So the cops go and say, bet. Say less, right? Say less. It's easy. I got this. They go to his house. Boom. Open the door. Say, yo, my man, we got to talk to you. Dude's in a wheelchair, right? He was shot at 19 years old. It's 25 years later. And they're like, yo, such and such, she said you did this. Why would she lie? So they book him. They arrest him. And he's confused. He's like, wait, I can't do any of that. Cop is trying to take him up out of the wheelchair. And the guy's like, I can't stand. Like, I can't stand. I can't put, no. Guy takes him, false, right? Leave him there for a little bit. Get him, arrest him, put him, take him to the station. Same thing. They're trying to like, the cop goes and talks to to his commanding officer. And he's like, hey, my man. He's like, listen, dude, he can't, right? I'm asking if he's got any type of paperwork, anything to confirm that he's in a wheelchair. His wife says, yeah, he'd been like this for a minute. Like, this is his life. And the dude is like, yo, no, I can get you paperwork. I've got the handicap sticker. You can hit up my doctor, right? You can go to the DMV. It says that I need an assisted vehicle. It says that for the last 2.5 decades. Cop is going and talking to this other dude. And he's like, nah, he's lying. He's lying. He's lying. He's doing this so he can pretend like he didn't. And instead of thinking for himself the entire time, he just like, all right, let me just do this. Another black cop, sees the dude on the floor, right, as he was lifted, and he tried to help him. He comes in, he puts him back in his chair. He's very compassionate. He says, I've got family, right, that are paralyzed from the waist down. He's looking at the legs, how atrophied they are. He's like, this guy didn't do it. But you got to cede authority to this, to your sergeant, your chief, whomever. And they're all going back and saying, why would she lie? She gave a perfect description of this man. So they book him. Right? Naturally, they just book him. Throw him in jail. Days later, almost a week later, Shorty comes back. I lied. They look her up and said, Shorty's doing meth, right? She's got another pending case of doing the very same thing, of lying and saying this person did this. In her original story, she said the guy kicked in the door and then ran her down. The guy in a wheelchair. Who she went to high school with. And it was just like, it's gotta be true. Right? This gotta be true. So just like HR, they hear this and they say, it's fine. It's gotta be true. Why would they don't do anything? They don't take any type of steps. They just say, of course, why would someone lie? Think about the type of carte blanche you can have, the type of authority you have to get away with stuff. Just saying, when people say, well, why would you make that up? Women aren't in the business of just lying. You're humans. This is with the conversation we had on the last one, thinking the last live stream, talking about one of the purposes of the red pill was just to learn to treat women as human. You lie too, right? You're capable of the highest highs and the lowest lows. That's it. When you pedestalize you, you're only capable of the highest high at all times. That's unfortunate. That's not fair. That's not realistic to you. That's a standard you will die trying to meet. But this stuff like that ends up really aggravating me. Okay? And I know I don't need you guys to agree to disagree. You guys are definitely on point with that one. So listen, for the first agree or disagree, we're gonna do something different, right? This is part of the idea of when I'm slithering through the internet trying to find things that are at least nice jumping off points to talk about, or just wildly dumb, right? And also also really interested. Oh, okay, come on, give it up, my brother, right? Give it up, my brother. Best man I've ever met, right there. Best man I've ever met. You know the game. We're always trying to make things a little better, a little piece at a time. So when I'm scouring the internet for you guys, right? For the crew, right? For the tribe, for the gang, I find some stuff that is just like it's. I don't want to say indefensible, but it's kind of indefensible. It's kind of stuff like it's hard to understand why you would think that, why you would feel that way, and what are we supposed to do in the case that you do think that way? How do you fix that? What are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to think? And then I'm always talking about the comment section. In my head, I'm always talking about the comment section. So I want to take the time to go through it with y'all, so y'all can see exactly what I'm talking about. Let me see. There we go. All right. Oh, let me make sure. One thing. Go. All right. I want to make sure you guys can actually hear all of
I was
this.
trying to record this in a different way, but I'm going to go ahead and just spit it out. Let me give you a list of facts really quickly. Hypothetically, of course. The oldest human bones were found in Africa and were female. According to the government, aliens exist, as in non-human entities also are on Earth.
I just want you guys to follow along. These are some of the serious conversations people are actually having out here, right? And Jasmine and I, we joke along, about a lot of this. These are people that can vote. These are people that can make policy, that can swing things one way or another. And more importantly, these are people that you meet outside when you're actually dating.
Women can reproduce asexually. If you are Christian or at least believe in what the Bible says, then we are living in a curse and in an inversion of nature. All right, what do all four of those things have in common? I think men are the aliens.
We're aliens. Congratulations, fellas. wait, we are aliens.
Here's the story. I'm gonna lose some of y'all, but just try to follow along before you comment or before you debate with me. Just think about what I'm saying for a second, okay? So woman was the original person, and women could reproduce asexually, so we did not need men to reproduce. The first species of humans were all female. Aliens. Aliens come in the form of man. Women are curious. We are loving, nurturing, nature-bound individuals. So when we see anything, we took care of the entire earth, the human. So when we see this new entity that looks kind of like us, doesn't really know anything, we're curious. We raise it. We want to, nurture it.
Why would aliens look like you? And why would you have to nurture them if they arrived? Why?
Fast forward to the Lilith fact, allegedly, and man overpowers woman and he rapes her. He impregnates her with the first male-female children, Cain and Abel. And
but neither of them were female.
We never really mixed that well, right? Like men and women, they used to say all the time that we were from different planets. So in order to keep this matrimony together, what did men have to do? Marriage, slavery, bondage, entrapment, and infiltration. Having babies with aliens created alien-human hybrids. So again, women were able to reproduce without men before this time. And of course, we have nurture and love for the things that we give birth to, as well as everything else on Earth. So when we had these alien babies, we took care of them like our own. And here's where it's going to get a little crazier. I do think that the female children that were born continued to be human, but the males were something else.
Viltrumites.
That's it. That's the whole theory. I know you guys are gonna want to say all type of stuff. It's plausible, okay? It is totally plausible, and I think that if you listen to the whole thing, I appreciate you. If you have things that you want to say, first of all, I'm not saying that aliens are even bad necessarily. I'm not saying anything is good or bad. So before you guys come in here trying to say that I'm bashing men, no, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Just bashing aliens, right? We're just bashing aliens now, right? Now, let's understand. This is simply part of what I wanted to go over this with you guys, right? Yeah, Marissa, I'm with you. My head hurt and then it hurts some more. But this is why I say that the internet is a very dangerous place, right? Right. But solid facts, right? The issue is this looks like a woman you just meet in wild. You just go out there and say, hey, what's going on? Hey, and you would just be like, yeah, of course, right? Why would this be any issue? And this is the entire time. This is what she's thinking about. This is what she's harboring in her head. That type of nonsense. And you're like, what part of this was even based loosely on? Even if you want to say this is biblical or this is just science, this is pure. This is none of them. This is fan fiction, right? This is fan fiction. Someone heard it and you thought, okay, it's gotta be real, right? That makes sense. But we're not done, right? I want to introduce you into the other issue, right? Of something like this. It's the comment section, right? It's what people, when they hear this and how they believe this and how they think that this is actually right. Let me go fix this real quick. Right. This becomes the other questionable, thing. How does this make sense? And when you get down to the internet and they start saying, all right, here is the echo chamber, right? I want to make it big so you can see what I'm talking about, right? Ask my husband if he was an alien. Such like says no, but that's what the alien was saying. You never convinced me that sperm isn't just a parasite. I think men are aliens. Imagine being so horrible. We think it's pretty how you like this, right? This becomes part of the norm of what you see on here. That they really truly think, hey, this is it. You can find anything that you want to believe in on the internet, right? And all babies start with a female in the womb, right? Yeah. Now, how do we send them all back? Take men are not naturally true leaders. We've been forced into this role. And women repress every religion. Why do they make so many rules up for us? There's no cause of any mammal doing, they're parthenogenesis. Thank you. Oh, okay. So if you guys, for those of you that know me, or those of you getting to know me by what you see when we do these, when I share myself, share parts of me, you understand I'm a man of science. I like science, right? I like for things to make sense. So when you come and say, yo, that just doesn't happen. So this is a soft voice. Right, I'm folding, right? But she did it with the crazy eyes. So my defenses, right, were still intact. So it says there's no example of this actually happening in nature, right? There's none. This doesn't exist. Let's see the replies, right? Keyword known. If there was, you think the mothers would want everybody knowing? Okay, stop right there. Stop right there. That's enough, right? That's enough. I want to make sure you guys see this. Yeah, that's enough right there. This is why you can't have conversations. You can't have all the same conversations with people. You are not capable of hearing anything remotely that does not fully support what you believe in. At this point, this is when you pick up your ball and you go home. You say, cool. 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 I don't need facts. I just need feelings. And this story was enough for you to say, okay, at the end of it, it says, yes, women better. Man bad. Even men aliens, bad aliens. Even coming and saying every religion oppresses women. What are you supposed to do? It's because we're aliens, right? That's why, right? Because that's so much, yeah. Well, right. Paper crane. Thank God she hasn't picked up that technique yet. She just wants you to listen and say, yeah, this makes sense. This makes sense. You know? So I hope you all can agree that all of that is straight up nonsense, right? Right? All of that is just straight up awful, regular, degler, stupid nonsense, right? We can hopefully we all can agree on that. We know that's stupid, right? But we've got a couple more, right? A couple more we're gonna be curious about. So one of the conversations we end up having today is about 50-50. And I wanted to interject, right? Jet fuel steel piece. you know, now we got to talk about the shape of the earth as well. So one of the things we end up talking about a lot is just the 50-50 conversation. And we always, we sometimes hear about hearkening it back to how things were back in the day, how men used to be. Therefore, men used to do this, used to build houses, go to war. Yeah, we didn't want to do probably one of those things. You can guess. Right? You can guess. If you ever, this is how rude some of these conversations are. If you ever actually, and as men, and once you hit around your mid 30s and 40s, you start being super interested in wars and stuff like that. You look about how the horrific sort of effects of that. You wouldn't use that as flippant. One of the other things I came across was this woman, she was in Egypt. And she's taking pictures of pyramids in the back and said, imagine men used to build this and all they do is complain. Slave labor built that. Like, you don't feel icky? You don't feel icky about that at all? Right? Yeah. Don't want to go to war. I've seen that. That's enough for you. That really is enough. Yeah. That would really be yeah, I saw that. Seen it. It's terrible. I don't want any parts of this. So what I want to see is this conversation. And sometimes I'm seeing more and more content of older women thinking this. And we would hope that at some point in time, there would be wisdom that came with said age.
Men aren't men how men used to be. It's like,
you hit it.
You know,
you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, like, it's like men want to be taken care of. Like, you know, at one point it was like, okay, the men would take care of women. Now it's like the men look for the women to take care of. And I'm like, when did we get here?
When did we get here?
You know, I'm like, and I'm looking at my friends like, oh, this is what y'all are up against. I did not know that. And
so one thing that I always get was a pet peeve. It's when you'll have this conversation with everything but men, like actual men.
It's like, they are like,
not saying that gay men aren't men, but men that are heterosexual that want to be with you, that can actually have the conversation with you.
Like, yeah, it's not too many fish in the sea. The sea in Atlanta is dried up. And I'm like, I'm talking to 3 different people, some of them 3 different situations. And it's just like, y'all telling me this. And I'm just like, what did them say?
It's not even your conversation, bro. It's not even your conversation. Right? Yeah. It's not even a conversation. It's not.
One of the guys was like, oh, what? He was like, well, you was going to pay the bills anyway, whether I'm here or not. It's like, what?
What?
That makes absolutely no sense to me. I was, I'm like, this is what's going on.
What doesn't make sense is when you repeat the same things they said to justify why you should take care of them. Now, if you find yourself in a position where, yes, you want to, right? It's not even a conversation. You can sit, you can observe, but it's not your conversation. If you just want to sit there and still just kind of big them up, congratulations, great, thank you. That doesn't really get to the bottom of any of this. We're going to do that today. Right? We're going to do that today, or at least throw a little wrinkle in there, right? We're going to throw a little wrinkle in there. So one of the things I've noticed is these conversations that are being had, we're having multiple conversations at the same time, right? And exponential, there's several permutations going on, but it all sounds the same. So when you have an older woman like that talking about that, these men just want to be taken care of. What type of men want to be taken care of? Because yes, there does exist a subset of men that wants to be taken care of. Then on that very same plane, there's men that want to be appreciated for their efforts. You never address these men that want to be appreciated for their efforts. What you address is, say, the men that want to be taken care of, the ones that want to borrow your Ultima, the ones that want to live up under your couch, the ones that want to leech off you. But when you have conversations about the type of men that you want, that you refuse to settle, all it does sound like is you are settling for men that adhere to this sort of thing you're talking about. Those men need you to pay their way. Why do they have your attention? When you tell us about what you want, about these men are supposed to do this, and back in the day they did that, there's still men that do that very same thing today. And what they're still asking for is gratitude, shown gratitude, not implied gratitude, not I kind of appreciate. No, let me know. Because it's hard doing these things today. That man that can put you up at home and you can chill, your money is your money. You can do what you want with it. But when it's time to move and shake, we don't need your money. These are conversations that you start being had at something at 180, 190 plus. That is a rarefied air for men. Those are the men that you're saying that you want, but in truth, you don't have access to them. So what you keep seeing, you keep running into the same type of men around you that are denoting your actual viability on the dating market. So you get mad that those men, and we're going to give it to you. We're going to say, let X equal grandma and lover boy, that they're telling the truth. Those men that want you to take care of them. Why? Because they don't have the ability to do these things. Some men, yes, have been softened today. Yes. But that's not your target market, is it? Not supposed to be. If you keep playing in the mud and then complaining about how dirty you are, how awful it is, they over there, how come you say all these men? We're over here saying, what are you talking about? I've never said that. I like when nice things are done for me because I am human. I work a lot. I work often. I'm tired often. When someone comes and says, let me take care of that for you, something I know I can actually do, it feels good. Hey, I made you a meal. Even if it's terrible, it feels good that you thought about doing that for me. I like that. That doesn't make me sassy. That doesn't mean I want you to do for me. That just says I recognize the value in that. But in my life, it's usually me taking care of others. This is the type of man you want over there. The issue is you don't have access to them. You don't qualify for those conversations that he's having over there. You're stuck where you are because you thought your degrees in the house and the success would somehow engender you to those men. And they say, no, absolutely not. The men that don't have a choice, the men that don't have a say, they're the ones that you're actually in your purview. They're the ones that they're in your nose, that you're breathing every bit of air from them. And you say, the men these days. No, those men that you qualify for are trash, according to your logic, according to, you know, your other friends' logic. The rest of us over here trying to make some of ourselves, you don't have to group us together. You don't have to do that. You just have to say, hey, yes, the men that I've been exposed to, the men that I seem to qualify for, they all move like this. The question now should be, how do I now change the people that I'm dealing with here? How do I get access over there? And one of the first things they're going to say is, one, there might be an age requirement. Two, there might be a beauty standard. Three, there's definitely a physical standard. A lot of these conversations that we hear, that I come across about women that are out of shape, that do not look the best they possibly could, but they're saying they deserve the best of men by downing the men they have access to. All these men, they're in their soft girl era. They want to be driven around. They want the men, you know. It reveals more of where you stand than not. You want the best of men, but you don't have access to them. You know how many people show up? Yeah. You know how many people show up to Charles Xavier Mansion and say, I want to be on X-Men Blue Team. Blue Team? Sir, Blue? You know how long I've been rocking? I built this mansion and already had a couple people already in here. Yo, Bobby, get in here. Chill the drinks. Yeah. Is that Bobby Drake? Is that Iceman? Omega level mutant on the team? He said, yeah, I got a couple. Storm, you know, it's getting a little cloudy. Clear it up for us. Boom, it's done. Jean Grey, read this man's mind, blank it out, tell him to get lost. You don't qualify for the team. You don't qualify for the men that you actually want. What are you supposed to do? Instead of looking internally and say, hey, you know what? I could probably stand to lose some pounds. I could go to the lab. I can look and see, what do I have to do? It's this barrier. It's this almost invisible but real barrier that keeps you from access to those men. So therefore, you look and you see, this is my world. This is my purview. It has to be. Something's wrong with these men, because the men in front of you, the men that you can see, the men that you can text or that text you, what are you doing? Are you up? The men that you have access to, they move like that. The rest of us looking and saying, oh God, why would I? No. Those conversations, not the conversations we're having over here. Those moves are not the things we're talking about here. I was just before the stream, I was talking with a friend, and we're talking about just retirement. Talking about being, are you ready to retire? By ready, are you ready in terms of the type of work ethic that it took us to get here? That going above and beyond, that starts to eliminate your desire to chill. Your inability to appreciate the things that you can accomplish is part of the thing that keeps you pushing and getting ahead. Are you ready to let that go and embrace a new world? These are conversations we're having. In between the jokes, in between the laughter, these are conversations we're having. You're here talking about, yo, do you know what Usher did? No, I don't. I have no clue. Yeah, I have no clue. There's different levels of what we're actually happening. It's actually what's going on. What ends up being the case is we're having multiple level conversations at the same time. And depending about who you are, what station you're on in life, that is going to determine what you're saying. But it's hard to differentiate the two. It's hard for me talking to someone that's online and they're telling me about their experience, and it sounds like a low level one, but how am I to know? How am I to make sure? How do I know? Or, and I know it sounds bad, and we said this last time, some of these conversations need to be segregated. These are not the same things you're talking about. If you want to, there's different levels of qualifications that see you in here and then don't see you out of here. But we pretend like your experience is the same as someone else's experience, and we know how radically different those things can be. We pretend, oh no, it's just something wrong with the men. These men today. No, it shows that there's been a severe lack of discourse, severe lack of thinking on your part that would allow you to see there's different things happening at the very same time. If I only were more aware than this, or I thought about this for 10 seconds and said, when I looked at my life, my best thinking, my best movement, my best ideas have never gotten me the partner that I said I wanted. I've never had access to that type of man or woman. Is it inherently everyone of that level is their fault? You've never been with an IG baddie. It's all their fault? Every one of them. They're the ones that are in the wrong. Or do you have some things that you need to change to say, I need to qualify to be in that? You're 6'10", but you work at ShopRite. And you're looking like, how come the baddie doesn't want me? You need to get in the league. Right? Get in the league. Solve your problem right there. But instead, we'll have the conversation. We blame an entire gender. Something is wrong with them. The larger issue is we hear it, we internalize it, and we think we just let it roll off our back. But some of it sticks. Some of it sticks like plaque, like buildup. Or thing that makes you say, hey, you lost that tooth. Eventually, yeah. Yeah, we're walking around here toothless or with cavities. I'm just like, I'm tired. Why am I so tired of this? This is my take on it, right? And I think it should be entered into the lexicon. You're right, right? Jubilee was on the blue team, right? Jubilee was on the blue team. She actually turned out to be, pretty dope later on, but Jubilee got in the blue team. Morph was on the blue team. Think about how many people didn't get the blue team. All the other people that showed up said, nah, I got a team for you. I mean, gold, and then we could do an uncanny thing. But you, what's it? Sasquatch? You can be X-Force. What's X-Force? Nah, don't worry about that, man. Domino, your power is luck. That's cute. X-Force. Right? We don't have a place for you right here. Right? For those other Kitty Pride, when you grow up a little bit, we might have something for you. But for now, Excalibur, get out of here. Get out of here. Out in Britain, go run that Excalibur team. Thank you. This is reality. Some things you're not ready to have those conversations with. It just sounds like we're all talking about the same thing. We're just not. Right? It's just not. In that same vein, in trying to have real conversations, I want what you got. Let me know if I'm off base here. Right, with this next one.
Let's talk men. I got a comment that says, just to let you know, since the beginning of dating men, even real men that take someone on a date would like to sleep with that person. This hasn't changed, ever. Okay, so let's unpack this. So this guy is telling me that his immediate thought when he wants to take someone on a date is, ooh, I want to sleep with this person.
I hate to break it to you. Yeah, I hate to break it to you, but yeah.
Or maybe it's not his immediate thought, but it's definitely a thought.
Make a declarative statement that, of course, now you would do this. But when men are telling you, no, if I'm asking you on a date, it's because physically I'm definitely interested in you. It becomes a different conversation later on when we have to determine whether or not there's a real connection in there. But that guy, he definitely wants to sleep with you. He's thought about it, probably not to the point it's completely consumed his life, but he's thought about it. Otherwise, he wouldn't be sitting across from you.
How can I make this lady happy on this date? Oh, is this a potential wife? Like, the thought would not be, how can I sleep with this person? So I personally disagree with this, but I want to hear it from the men. Do y'all confirm that this is true, or do you deny this? And for the women, how do we feel? I know how I feel about it as a woman. So ladies, how do you feel about this? I think it's disgusting. I think that the guys in this world, not all of them, but a lot of them, just are corrupted. Their minds are just corrupt with less.
Not corrupt. Not corrupt. He's just being real with you. He's being real with you. Yo, no. If I'm gonna ask you out, if I saw you out, it's because I looked and said, that's sexy. Now, I can sit across from you and listen to you and say, oh, this is your belief system, this is your take. Okay, we don't align. And that's it, right? The lust, me having lust doesn't mean I'm somehow corrupted, not asexual. I see, oh yeah, man, that looks good. There's parts of you that I would enjoy, would physically enjoy. But now this becomes a different, we start talking about different calibers, different levels. We start get to the point that we get that say, okay, a man that's filled with lust, that's controlled by his lust, he's going to move like this. He's going to not care about anything you have to say. He's going to agree with you. He's going to pander to you just so he can get the outcome he wants. A man with actual standards that says, okay, yeah, you're physically attractive. I would love to do these things for you in time, but let me know more about you. Oh, you're a terrible person. Great. I would hate to be associated with you in any type of form. In any type of form. Whatever you got going on, please do it somewhere else. This is not for me. This is how you end up in scenarios where men that you really are attracted to won't give you the time of day. You don't qualify. There are things about you that are disgusting, reprehensible. And even if you are sexy, even if you are gorgeous, you would not be someone that you should be with. We got a perfect example, right? In the mainstream right now, Brittany Renner. I think Brittany Renner is gorgeous. I think, and I don't think most men would disagree with that. Would that be someone who you want to settle down with, though? Sure, some men would still be like, I gotta take my chance. But realistically, if you had access to women that looked like that on that caliber, and that was just your normal Thursday to Sunday sort of outing, you'd be like, no. Because what's under there, because how detrimental that could be to you and your life. You say, okay, this is good to look at, but this is not something good to actually settle down with, to take seriously. When women don't understand or don't accept that, yeah, we want to sleep with you, you got to consider what would look like the other example of that. You're with someone that has no physical attraction to you. When you come out the shower and you got that robe and you open it up and there's this beautiful lingerie under there and he high fives you and he goes in to brush his teeth and then, puts his little nightcap on, goes to bed. He's got that, warm glass of milk at the side of his desk. How would you feel? I'm here because your personality is so dope. I'm here because you're such a valuable human. You'd be like, wait, you're not, no. If you don't want to be with men that are not attracted to you, you don't want to do that. you don't want to do that. Because now you're going to start saying he's DL, he's gay, he's all this. Listen, I think that's an obvious agree. Don't tell me you guys are monsters and think that something's wrong with that, So last one, and I really hope you disagree with this one. I really hope.
So with me, I established what I want from the beginning. We're talking or whatever the case may be. We decide to get serious. I let him know you may not live with me and I may not live with you, but you have to be responsible for some type of bill in my household. It doesn't have to be the mortgage. It doesn't have to be my car note. You don't have to know what bill you're paying, but I need to see how you're going to show up if we're going to take this thing seriously, because eventually I'm going to be dependent on you, not 100%, but I'm going to lean on you as my
But
man.
you know why you can do that though? You have a house. Like most,
I get.
Yeah. yeah. Dante, what's going on? Yeah. You gotta. All right. I need you to pay the bill. Even if we never live together, I need to see you paying the bill. What are we doing? These are grown women talking about this. It's grown women. I don't live with you. I don't incur any type of debt in your house. You don't need me for this. You simply want to use an example to say, I'm trying to train you into knowing that you have to pay bills.
That's stupid. Use your common sense.
What are we talking about? What are we talking about here? What are you talking about? I got to do this to show you why. yeah. Office. What? Yeah. And if you're curious, yeah, she's a single mom. Yeah. But her content's been doing a great rounds lately. But again, all you have to be is, attractive and controversial, and then the algorithm would take care of you. I hate that notion. I hate that notion. That one where here's how I envision it. Here's how I envision it. You would want a man that can pay the bills, that can take care of all the things, right? He can pay all the bills, retirement, everything. He can sacrifice his well-being and his health to make that happen. I would hope you loved him enough to prevent him from doing that. The capability, the willingness, to me, speaks more than I need you to exhaust yourself. I need you to be working 15 to 18 hours per day, 6 days a week, in order so I could stay home and take care of, one, a kid that's not yours, two, kids that we may have together. I need you to do that. I would hope that people that find themselves in those relationships would find themselves with a partner who says, yeah, I'm willing to sacrifice. I'm willing to do this and kill my body. And so I love you and so much that I cannot allow you to do that. I would hope that would be the dynamic. Trying to say these things, trying to skew these things in a way where it just, as you know, you're supposed to do this. I need you to show me you can pay a bill in this house. No, no, I don't care. I don't care. Yeah, there's a difference between what you want, what you need to be provided is understandable. There's how much money you have. I'm gonna tell you how much money I have. I'm gonna tell you. Listen, I'm a fan, Lance. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of this. You don't understand this because you're raised right. I'm gonna tell you, right? And I'm gonna make sure. And if my brother's still in the chat, him and his best friend have an idea named Drew Morris. He used to have this idea that I adopted. It's called a big tip. It's like you go to a barber, you know this is the last time because he's effed up your hairline one too many times. You're gonna give him a big tip so he knows what he lost. We can be over dinner. We can have a terrible dinner. I'm still going to pay for the dinner. I'm still going to kiki, laugh, haha. We're going to have a good time. But you'll know there's a reason when you try to set up. By the time I walk into your car, say, hey, let me know when you get in. Right? Text me when you get in. You text me. Cool. Hey, I made it in. Great. I had a great evening with you. And then you say, I can't wait to do it again. And you never hear from me again. You never hear from me again. Never. Done. I don't want to do it. Right? That's a big tip. I'll let you know. Right? If you're out there, I mean, realistically, if you're with someone that three sentences in and starts asking you, so how much you make? I'm just turning around. I'm going to walk away. Right? I'm just going to walk away. I'll just say a significant amount and turn around and walk away. So, too much of this conversation to continue and just leave. Right? And just leave. Just like, damn, I think you messed that up, but it happens. People fumble the bag all the time. I said, listen, I got someone I can introduce you to who talks all conspiracy theories, says a lot about other stuff that doesn't make any type of sense. Came from frequency. I've never done that. But anyway, so finishing up, right? We're going to go into, we're going to talk about it, all right? So, Gen Z having less sex, right? And we're going to go over some data because we like data and it helps sort of anchor what we're saying, anchor the points of what you have to say. So it's not just it sounds good, it feels good, and we sort of go with that. It's important that we try to sometimes sit here and think and wonder about some of these things for ourselves. That's what we're going to endeavor to actually try and do at this point. So, by the numbers, in 2024, 24% of adults aged 18 to 29 reported having no sex during the previous year. No sex, nothing, right? Sex desert, right? Nothing. No one came and said, hey, I would endeavor to do this. Now, when we look at this from the man's point of view, from the male point of view, we say, okay, we understand that. I've endured the same thing. times when just like you couldn't get it right. And when I was definitely younger, couldn't get it right. And then it was also many other things to keep you focused. Full-time work, full-time school. You rarely had time to breathe. But when we look at the other side of it, the other side of the coin, when you're talking about women, well, you kind of get to decide who you want to have sex with. If you want to have sex, every woman in the chat, they want to have sex with someone tonight, they can make that happen. Right? It's a different game. Right? We don't begrudge them, we don't hold them, we don't say it's wrong. We just understand this is what it is, right? This is just the name, this is the literal name of the game. So that's double the approximately 12% recorded in 2010. So, you know, we're moving and grooving, sliding in the wrong direction. So it's not saying that 1 in 4 has never had sex. We just said we're talking about sexual like activity during the last 12 months. So Gen Z is dating and partnering less. Okay. So if you're not even, you know, having sex, you're definitely not partnering. The share of young adults living with a spouse or romantic partner declined 10%, 42% to 32%, 2014 to 2024, respectively. And the 2026 survey found only about 30% of young adults were dating casually or exclusively. So we got less partnership. Like I said, it creates naturally less opportunities for sex. One of the most obvious reasons, young people socialize less. Right? When I say young people, I hope you're listening to this and hearing yourself. Right? You also socialize less. You also get out less. You also do less when it comes to other people. In fact, you're probably that stage of your life where I kind of hate people. Right? Americans are spending more time alone, more time at home, and less time socializing than in previous years. I think you saw a steep decline. Right? COVID happened, and a lot of us got used to being alone or lost the skills to actually communicate. So we have less face-to-face interaction, means less opportunities to meet, flirt, holler, right, and build sort of that confidence and that ability to go back out. You got rejected, you can stand back up. Right? You can't do that when you don't have the experience of first going out and getting over the butterflies and going out and talking to her. Maybe she's with 2 friends. Maybe you know you're going in for the rejection, but you go anyway. You don't have that. You don't have that ability to lean into that. 1, you never had the chance to develop it. 2, your society, like our society, made it easier. Right? Dating apps work very much differently for men and women. Men are more than likely, right, to say they receive too few messages. Some men report they've been on there 6 months to a year, no messages, none whatsoever. You even have some of these apps now that they're completely focused on helping you take your photo, Photoshop your face onto a model-esque sort of photo in order to trick women and say, oh yeah, this is me, this is my lifestyle. So you can swipe on me, we can have a conversation. Only for you to later on be disappointed by what you saw. So women are more likely to feel overwhelmed by messages and experience unwanted sexual communication. Random dick pics, that's a big one. Right? Among recent users, 54% of women felt overwhelmed by the volume messages, while men are more likely to feel insecure about receiving too few. Self-explanatory. And it's hard for us on this side of it as men to say, yo, that's crazy. My steak too juicy. You get messages, you get people that are actually interested in you, that people that want to be around you and say, hey, I'm interested. Men are like, no. It forces you to take the few messages that you do have, the few likes that you do actually come across, you almost have to take them extra seriously. You don't like her, you're not physically attracted to her, but the last time you got someone that liked your profile was 3 months ago. Last time that app that you're paying for that got any action was, 8 months ago. So now you kind of forced in position, like, I kind of have to do this. So yeah, men get too little access in there. Then right now we have, instead of you going out and trying to find someone to enjoy your time. We have a lot of digital substitutes. What does that mean? We have things that can stimulate you, right? We have pornography, we have social media, we got sexting, parasocial relations. When you look at Meg and Clay and had a conniption, right? And we have AI companions, chatbots, things to keep you inside the house. You don't have to worry about being rejected by outsiders, by people, because this thing is designed to help, designed to be nice, be kind to you. So we take care of your simulation, your attention, your fantasy, and then we give you validation. A lot of times when I use chat GPT, it's like I've got to tell it, cut the fluff, cut the spin, cut the left leaning. Just give me the stats. Show me the where's the study that I'm looking for? Give me that. Hey, just give me that thing. But what it does, it gives you a temporary relief from feeling lonely, feel like you're engaging someone. We kind of do the same thing in different ways, where when you're at home by yourself, you turn on the TV, right? Just to sort of fill the space with a little bit of noise, make you feel a little bit better. We do that, right? But in a sense, now you've got actual interaction with the AI chatbot. So then our next reason is that adulting sucks. Right? Adulting is very difficult for you to actually establish. When you look about just in terms of you're into real estate, you look at the home prices, look at the people that are able to afford them, especially in metropolitan cities. In 2024, 57% of adults ages 18 to 24 lived in their parental home. Now, sounds like something you probably did. I didn't leave home until it was time to buy a house. I think I was 28, 27, 28, maybe 29, around there, 28, before I left the house. But to me, that's because I completely understood, the game. For them now, right now, and some of us right now, you got high housing costs, unstable employment, and then you got, limited privacy. At a certain point, you can't swing it saying, hey, you got to climb through the window. You have to play, you got to be Tom Holland if you want to have, we want to make out with me. But even then, my dad's down the hall. So now you got to do all this silently because, well, she can't come to your house because you also live with your grandma and your mom, and she won't play any of that. You're just 37. Right? You're just 37. So our next reason, and I think this would be completely obvious, is that men and women are increasingly defensive. So men are looking at relationships and saying, well, is the juice worth the squeeze? There's the rejection, there's humiliation, there's a financial risk. And shout out to Gen Z for looking at these things now early on, and then being viewed as inadequate. So women fear violence, sexual pressure, exploitation, and then losing their independence. It's a hard sell when both sides are giving adequate reasons why they should not do this thing together. You rarely hear the reasons why, well, you should actually be doing this together. The messaging is critical. And right now, if it leads, it bleeds, becomes the way of life online. So what do you end up seeing? You end up seeing people say, hey, I don't have to do this. I shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do this either. Gen Z grew up with the internet, hand in hand with it. There's some that are being born that will never know a world without AI. We only knew about it in, movies like, Terminator with Skynet. We knew automatically it was bad, but these people are knowing it just as they knowing, this is how you Google. We remember a time without Google. We remember Britannia Encyclopedia. We remember that. Having to look stuff up, a dictionary. Now you can just ask Siri. You can just make these things happen, or better yet, you can pretend like you know exactly what you're talking about. One of the reasons social media has inflated our expectations now. If he's not taking you to the Maldives, if he's not taking you to Bali, if he's not putting you on the moon, not the dark side though, then something's wrong with him. He doesn't measure up. You look at these people and you say, well, Drake did this. I'm not Drake. Well, I don't really care. that's what I want. So you got influencers, you got edited bodies, and we're talking about on screen and physically. And you got luxury lifestyles that you could never have, that this was bought by daddies or granddaddies or great granddaddy's money that has stood the test of time. This is why they get to vacation in Puglia and you can vacation at the Jersey Shore. It's not something that's wrong with you. That's just something that went right with them. Not meaning that you're wrong or you're bad. Just this is a lifestyle that decisions they made way before have allowed them to sort of exercise. And you were never supposed to be that close to it. You were supposed to understand it. You were supposed to see it. Understand, hey, they went and did that. Great, heard it. You weren't supposed to be able to be over the shoulder, watching as they pack their bags, watching as they take the Uber Black, or they have their driver take them to the airport, but not your airport, to the private airstrip. You were never supposed to see that. You were never supposed to see the insides of PJ as it takes off, as they're fed, as they relax in their very, very comfortable looking, but yet expensive loungewear, then get to their villa somewhere else. You were never supposed to see all that. You were supposed to know about it academically, but you weren't supposed to look at it, internalize, and say your world, your life is wrong and silly and stupid by comparison. It's hard for you to look at that and not say, hey, this actually may be real. This may be important. Our next reason why you don't see people getting together is, some Gen Z adults intentionally avoid sex because of religion, personal values, rejection of hookup culture. You see more and more people saying they're trying to be child wives. They're looking into that. But then you also see other movement saying we got to shut that down. Some people healing from previous relationships. Some people waiting for commitment. Others want relationships but struggle to find willing partners. I think that one's probably the biggest sort of stretch. I think part of that is also you want what doesn't exist. You want that young man, that young woman to be people that they were never designed to be. So what we want to focus here on that is that sex is not automatically bad, right? There's some benefits to having that. Right? Fewer unwanted pregnancies. For the first time in quite a while, you have more 40 to 45-year-olds having babies than teens. And weirdly enough, we celebrated that as if this should not have been the norm. This is not what we should be doing. You should have more people with stronger personal boundaries. Again, this is idealistic. Right? This is idealistic. But the warning signs, quote unquote, greater loneliness. And I think this is a careful one that we need to not tiptoe around. Because when we often talk about loneliness, we talk about it from the male perspective. We talk about that it's men that are the issue. Men are the problem, that men are inherently lonely. What we end up forgetting is that because we don't talk about it, because we don't bring it up, because we often like to pretend like in effect that women are not lonely as well, we end up doing us a disservice to a lot of these women. You get lonely because you're human. You don't talk about it, or it wasn't talked about for you. And then these articles come and say, listen, there's a male loneliness epidemic. And then the ones that are used to complain about not having partners, not being coupled up, they're not really men. When men are complaining about lonely, or when they were surveys, the ones they were talking about being lonely, it was more about a familial, about friends, about family, about feeling a purpose. The solution to male loneliness is not a wife. In fact, how many women were complaining just about, I don't want to be the mom. I don't want to be the one that has to rehabilitate you emotionally. That solution is going to come from men learning to open up and trust other men, being more honest about where they are in life. And if you can create that space within yourself with your friends, then that's exactly what you should be doing. If we can create that space here where people can come and say, hey, I'm struggling with this. Can we talk about it? Absolutely. Absolutely. So we ignore the other aspect of it. And I think we did women a disservice in saying, y'all not lonely. Y'all got friends. These men are lonely because they don't got friends, but you got friends. As if your friend is supposed to be the end all be all for you. You're going to run into the very same trappings that men did, or that you did for men. That man is supposed to be the one that's in charge of you and every aspect of you, but he's just a man. Your friends can't be in charge of your entire emotional sort of escape and well-being. There are roles that people are best suited for, and roles that people can pretend to do well, but over time, they end up defaulting to who they are, human. That's it. The case is, the understanding is we're better together than pretending that we're not when we're apart. And as long as we continue to cap, as long as we continue to ignore data, we're going to find ourselves in a position where none of this shit makes sense. You feel good, it sounds good, but in reality, none of that actually moves the needle. And then when we drill down, right? When we drill down to some of this stuff, when we look at specifically at the Black community, we can't afford to be goofy with this. We can't afford to pretend as if none of this is important, none of this really affects us. That we're starting from the same positions that other races are. We're behind the 8 ball. So some of these conversations that we end up having, saying, what's wrong with these men today? We need to be more realistic. We really need to start saying, yo, F that noise. We can look at the data and say, this is actually what's happening. No one here has enough of a bird's eye view to be able to take a step back and say, I can see the entire field, I can see the entire board, therefore I can tell you exactly what's happening. No, you're interpreting what you see in your own life and thinking this is real. This is how society actually moves. In truth, it's a wider game being played. And as long as you're open to some of these conversations, some of these real conversations, not just based on feeling, but based on what the data says, because that is going to tell you beyond your feelings, then we got a shot. Until then, right? Until then, there's always dolphins. there's always dolphins.
That's stupid. Use your common sense.
So listen, guys, it's another Subscriber Sunday. I didn't want to keep this going too long, but we had a good amount of time on this one. Monday's tomorrow, right? Get your wallets ready, get your ducats together. We're sitting here, we're trying to still do what we can do to contribute to stream. For those of you that do show up all the time, I appreciate you. Truly, your attention is valuable, even if people tell you it's cheap, right? And besides that, you guys, I'll see you in the next one.